Howdy, folks. This is Carlos Abdu, the angry elf, coming from an undisclosed location that we can't talk about. Here in this gentle, not so gentle, November 28th, Black Friday, while everybody is getting trampled over for the latest Christmas rush, here I'm spending time with a good friend of mine, Javier Cruz Winnik. What's up, man?
Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're having a good holiday.
So we all, man. How was your Thanksgiving?
Very hectic, but very enjoyable. Family was good to see, and my belly, nice and full.
I can't take any more, man. If I get one more bite, I'm gonna burst. I'm gonna explode like a Michael Bay movie, man.
This is not what we need. This is not what we came to see. We do not want to see him burst.
No, what you came here to see is for us to have a special bookshelf video interview about your latest project, A Reason to Smile. First, tell us, how did this project gestated? How did you start on Reason to Smile?
So basically, what it was that I was working as a after-school art teacher, and then from there I ended up working in an elementary school in Astoria, Queens. And the more I saw the books that the kids were reading, the more I realized that one, I could do those books, and two, there was a need for a graphic novel type of book that wasn't about violence in order to solve the problem. And especially with the way boys and girls are treated in schools, I wanted to give a spotlight to little girls so that way they could see that they're equally as attentive as the boys are in terms of how, we see them in the world.
And that was the gestation of the concept. How did the idea for the protagonist and the story came up with? Because this is a very actually for a what is perceived as a children's book is actually kind of deep and meaningful. There were several lines over there that actually got to me, and that is why I came up to you and asked for this interview. Because where did you got the idea for Reason to Smile and the protagonist, the perceptions that you wanted to bring up?
One of the things that I also realized was the fact that when kids are interacting with each other, you always have either things that are focused for boys or they're focused for girls. So I wanted to have a main character that was going to allow for girls to feel like this is their book, but at the same time allow boys to feel like this is a book that they wanted to be a part of, and they wanted this is a character that they wanted to be involved with as well. When I heard about other characters and other books and other stories, there were often times that kids would say, oh, that's for babies, or I'm too old for that, or that's for girls, or that's for boys. So what I wanted to do was create a story and a concept that was going to be enjoyable by both boys and girls, regardless of their age, regardless of the sex, regardless of, whatever their social economic situation is, they can all be a part of what's going on.
Of course, without spoiling the book, what is the book about?
Basically, the book is about a little girl named Luisa Brillante, and I like to tell people she's a walking silver lining. So everyone that's around her is pretty much happier, they're brighter, they smile more, the problems of their day aren't as heavy on their backs as normal, and she loves to people watch. And being that she's from New York City, she has a great opportunity to people watch and see so many people. Being that she gets to see so many people, she has an opportunity to see when they have problems, and she gets to help them out. And the problems don't go away, but they find an easier way to manage the problems. So I like to mix the fantasy with the reality and, bring some fun to the day-to-day stresses that we deal with every day.
Well, I know you mostly from other projects. You are a comic illustrator. You worked for Topps collectible card company. You handled the Drink and Draw with Kyrie Randolph. How do you transition from such a comics and illustrative heavy background into a children's book background? Because I noticed that you're very known for your deep contrasts and very bold characters, and this is a kind of a new art style for you.
It's definitely a new direction for what I'm doing artistically, and it was very interesting because with the book I was trying to I wanted to be able to draw, in that same style when I did it, and I realized that I wasn't really comfortable drawing kids. I never really drew kids before. So when I drew the first page, it had Luisa as like a cartoon, comic book style, character, but everybody else was more realistic, like in my illustrations. So I ended up having to develop a new style in order to draw people so that way it was something that was more accessible to kids and not something that they saw as, too realistic or something that they might not relate to so much. So I studied a lot of anime, I studied a lot of animation, so a lot of Disney, a lot of Hideo Miyazaki, and a lot of Naruto. And, it turned into something that now I've created my own style that I never had before.
And is this your first work as a writer as well, or have you done other work?
This is my first published work as a writer. As I was coming up, as I was a kid, I used to do a lot of poetry and I used to do a lot of songs. Like I have 3 hip hop demos that I've done when back around 2006. And I realized, I was like, do I want to go into the hip hop industry or do I want to go into the art industry? And drawing is so much more enjoyable. So that's where I spent my focus. And because of that experience, when I started to write the book, when I started to flow more easily was when I started reaching back into the same roots that I used to use for writing my songs. And that's when I was able to come up with the final draft of the book.
And this book is one of the many that self-made success stories that came out of Kickstarter.
Oh, yes.
So how was that process like?
Well, there's a lot of research that needs to be done in order to be successful. I've noticed that there's a lot of people who've done Kickstarter campaigns that were successful and they just barely made their goal. I've seen Kickstarter campaigns that have exceeded their goal by hundreds of thousands or thousands upon thousands. And then I've seen people who have great projects that don't end up being able to, that they're not able to make their goal. And what I realized was that if you're gonna do a Kickstarter campaign, you have to give incentives that make people feel like the money that they're spending is worth what they're getting in return, and that there are options for everybody, whether they have a lot of money or whether they have a little bit of money, because you want everyone to be able to be a part of this process. And if you only give, the high-end rewards, then you're gonna miss out on a lot of people that want to be able to be on that ground floor.
Well, speaking of the rewards, are there any rewards still available for spreading the book, or will there be anything new spinning off from Reason to Smile, like stickers or merchandise or anything like that?
See, the good thing about Kickstarter is once you've had a campaign on Kickstarter, the campaign does not go away. The opportunity to contribute to it ends once the deadline hits, but the website is still there. So if you search for Javier Cruz Winnik and you look up A Reason to Smile on Kickstarter, you can find the campaign. You'll see the process that I went through. You can see some of the updates that I've made available to my backers and to everybody else, and you can see that process. There are some things that are sold out. Like I had some hand-knit dolls. Those are completely gone. I had t-shirts from small to medium to large. All the medium shirts are gone. All the buttons are gone. So things are thankfully becoming sold out pretty quickly. And the campaign has only been, people have only been able to receive their campaign rewards since October. So we're now going into December, so it's a little over a month and a half, and almost everything is gone, which is amazing. So, thank you so much. And if you do go to the site and you are interested in one of those things, you can reach out to me at thelearningcurv@gmail.com, and you can even look me up on Facebook and let me know that you'd want one of those rewards. And if they're available, I'll get them out to you. And if you live in New York, I'll be happy to hand deliver them to you as well.
Well, let me ask, did you have any influence from other children's books for A Reason to Smile, or just in your work in general?
Well, when it came to the children's books, the one the one artist that made the most impact on my creativity was Peter Ferguson. He did the artwork for a book called The Anybody's. So it's called there's part one, if I'm not mistaken, is The Anybody's. Then there's The Nobodies, and then the last one is The Somebodies. So it's a trilogy of books, and his art style is very realistic, but at the same time very exaggerated. So he'll draw people in realistic situations, but like the eyes will be a lot larger, and their actions will be a lot more exaggerated and more dynamic. But he's got a really strong fine arts feel as well. So when I saw his work, his energy, I tried to use when it came to my work. And then, of course, with the style of art itself, I'm very influenced by Hideo Miyazaki, the same guy that does Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle and all those other movies. His whimsical contributions with having spiritual characters in the stories, and animals that talk, and all these other things that are reminiscent of our fantasies as kids, I feel like I want to bring that into the stories as well. So you're going to see a lot more of that as I explore my art style in Volume 2.
Volume 2?
Yeah. I've already started writing. I got about 3 or 4 pages on my outline so far. And I'm hoping to have, once the holidays are finished, so by January, I hope to have the transcript written up. And then I'm going to start doing preliminaries.
Wow. That is awesome. I was actually going to ask what new projects you got, but wow, congratulations. You're moving up. You're moving up.
I'm trying to move fast, man. There's a lot of artists out there that are doing really good things, and I'm inspired by them. There's an artist named Otis Frampton who's doing a book called Oddly Normal. And
yes. Our friend Matt actually had an interview with Otis Frampton over at NYCC.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I mean, I've been following his work, and I actually contacted him to do a illustration in the hardcover, and he wasn't available because he was doing so much work with Oddly Normal. So maybe next time I might be able to contract him to do, because the hardcover has 5 extra pinups in them, and it has work from Shirley Susilo, Nate Alonso, Nicholas, I forget his last name, but he's on DeviantArt, and Paige Pumphrey and Kari Randolph. And I'm sure you know who Kari Randolph is. He's done work for Ninja Turtles. He's done work for Wolverine and the X-Men. So I was able to get him to do a pinup in the book as well. So hopefully for the next book, I'm going to have a whole bunch of new artists that are going to, impart their take of what they see in A Reason to Smile and bring their own touch to it.
This is gonna be part of a hardcover edition. Will those prints be available separately as well?
The prints are going to end up being separately available at comic book conventions. At this point, I've printed up 5 of them that are going to some of the Kickstarter backers on linen paper. So they're going to have They're going to be the only ones that have these prints in that format. And then I'm going to have regular extra available copies of those prints as well.
Well, you're a regular convention guy. I've seen you all across conventions in the East Coast.
Right.
Are you gonna go? Is there anywhere you're gonna go next, or any other future plans that you have?
So there's a comic book convention in Queens called Winter Comic Book Con, and it's the same people that put on Eternal Comic Con. So if you look that up in Google, you'll be able to find that, and it's on the 6th of December, Saturday the 6th, and I'll be there, and I'll have some of those copies there.
All right then. And just finally, where can everybody just check out some of this work, man? Because you have like a whole bunch of stuff coming up. So also, you have your poetry, your song, your other artwork that you exhibited throughout the years. Is there like a page or a Tumblr or DeviantArt where people can reach you at?
So I'm all over social media. I'm on I'm on Facebook under thecurv.com. So actually, facebook.com/thecurv. You can also go to thecurv.com, which is my website. You can find me on Instagram, where I post a lot of behind the scenes and sketch work. And it's The Learning Curve, LEARNINGCURV. And then my Twitter is The Learning Curve with a THA. And then my Tumblr is the same as my Instagram of The Learning Curve. And then, you can reach out to me at thelearningcurve@gmail.com if you need anything else.
Dude, thanks a lot. Congratulations on all your work. I'm so happy with A Reason to Smile. I recommend it. We recommended this over our New York Comic Con episode. If you can find this, please feel free to grab it at your local bookstore or grab it from the internet. It is highly recommended. One of the best children's book I've read for a long time. Thank you very much. I'm Carlos Abdu. This is Javier Cruz Winnik. We are out. Merry tidings. Peace.